Hi guys, it's November the 2nd, 2021, and I wanted to do a reading on the case of, I think her name is pronounced Taleah or Taleah Lowe. So her last name is Lowe. My voice started going out. All right. Taleah Lowe. She was a young lady that, a woman of color, young lady, teen, that went with two white friends to a lake. And she had an arm that was paralyzed. And she had limited movement in that arm. She could not extend it up above her head. And she didn't like to swim. She was scared of being in water. So they took her to this lake. And though there are pictures of her like in swimsuits and stuff, she's on the land. She's not in the water. I don't think she was somebody that liked to get in the water. So the first initial reading, when this was very kindly brought to my attention by a viewer, I threw cards, and I got a feeling that she had been, or was trying to tell me, that she had been tricked, and that this was all about money. And I couldn't figure out what that was about. Later on, I came to understand that the friends that took her to this lake, so-called friends, started immediately after her death. I mean, really. They didn't ask her parents. They didn't coordinate with them to do this. But they started a GoFundMe, and they never have turned over any money received. And in fact, I think they've been very suspicious, let's just put it that way, the two other girls. And I got with the cards that I felt like one girl more than the other. The other one is just a like-minded and dumb enough to go along. But the feeling that like this is a way that we could get some money. Seriously, I got that horrible message through the cards. So I just want to read on her again. I read on my cases more than once. I look for patterns. Because not every reading, not every throw of the cards can jump out at you always. Sometimes you need to kind of get in the groove, so to speak. And it can be hard. Some days you're just not going to, it's just going to be a no. You know, it's like, nope, you need a break. You know, you're going to have trouble, and you're just meant to leave it alone for that time. That doesn't happen terribly often, but there, you know, it can. Never say never. Okay, so the deck I'm using, which I really have come to love, is the Southern Gothic Oracle. In case you haven't seen some of my other videos where I've used this, if you're new here, I really enjoy this deck. It's very, very good one. And if you see it, you might think so too. So what I want to know is, with regard to Taleah Lowe, what we need to know. And I'm asking the ancestors. We have a thin veil right now, so to speak, between worlds. So I'm going to ask if they can help me to understand through the use of these symbols, my own intuition, and Taleah also, if she is willing, with the cards, to indicate what happened to her, how she ended up in that water, and anything she wants to share about that, and anything her spiritual mentors want to share about her passing. Because it's so suspicious. We want to understand better. And I give thanks to the Most High to guide, because I am not always on the nose. You know, I am a flawed creature. I am a human being. All right, so let's see what we get. Well, we're getting a card about influence, roots, support, covering this issue. All right. Blue Moon. This is like there's a opportunity to do something that's unusual. A blue moon, once in a blue moon. And this is the effect that I see crossing into this situation to do with influence, support. Now, it just reminds me of what these two did, or at least one of them, with the GoFundMe. That was support money. And this feels very, I have to say, already opportunistic. Somebody that saw in her an opportunity to do something that was really greedy and awful, I believe. But let's continue with what the cards want to show. At the root of this is mentorship or protection. All right. Crowning is the black walnut. Discernment, self-worth. Yeah, I don't like what I'm getting. I'm feeling like someone wanted to take advantage of someone else. In a way that they were not protected. And they, I think, just knew that they could influence them. And they felt like they had an opportunity with this person, or they thought they did, to do this. And I think that they thought they were going to get away with it, which is really stupid. But I think they knew that there was maybe some low esteem where she was concerned, issues maybe of self-worth. I believe we've got like a predator type of mind that, you know, finds a vulnerability and is very cold in like just using someone. Yeah. There is Bottle Tree, and it's about behind in the past there may have been an intercession by spirit of stopping this from happening. So this makes me feel like I'm getting the input that this girl may have tried to put this plan in place on someone else in the past, maybe even Taleah in a earlier another point. And I feel like there was protection or intercession. Sorry about that neighbor's dog. They don't invest time in their I don't believe in taking them to have lessons or whatever, teaching them well. Anyway, the horseshoe. Okay. This is a chance. Yeah, I feel like I'm getting a message from the point of view of the one of the girls that was the predator. They would be able to carry this out, and there was a risk. I think there's a personality here that's attracted to risk. And I really feel like there was something about getting this person away from where somebody else could intervene. I feel like this person was very protected. But there's this odd moment in time that slips in for an opportunity that somebody could take in a negative way to take advantage. Okay. Self-expression, speaking truth. This is on what's on someone's mind here. I think Taleah's, that she wants it to be known what happened to her. Yes, in her environment was deceit, bad influences, deception. I think she was set up they may have felt like they were afraid that she was going to tell on them about something, or not keep it to herself. Like she found something, may have thought something that they were doing was really wrong. I'm sure she was letting them know with what they were doing, whatever it was that they did. But I see deception by the people that she was with. And that they're snakes in the grass, literally poisonous. That you want to beware of those people. And again, about ugly truth. People, are going to have to fear looking at an ugly truth, but this does need to be looked at. Because she's letting us know that this needs to be taken apart and looked at very carefully, very thoughtfully, because the reasons behind it are ugly. Is it a hate crime? Possibly. It's definitely, yes. Definitely yes. I feel like they took advantage of this person. And I got yes. So I'm feeling like what they held in their heart toward her, there may have been definitely some, and this is all alleged for entertainment purposes only. This is a card reading. But it looks to me and feels like with a plantation in this, racism. Some good old yucky, crappy, dappy racism. And when I say good old, I mean like good old in the sarcastic way, and also in the good old boys kind of stuff. There's a little bit of that going on, of an attitude, I feel like, within the people she was with. And that's why I think I said white girls. I mean, I'm white, but I don't like their intentions towards her. And I feel intuitively like they are and carry definitely a racism with regard to her. I do think that they did play a factor. And I felt and feel like here they thought they could get away with doing this to her. Maybe they didn't think the media would notice as much. I mean, the media really doesn't. They'd be right. Black coffee. This is about shadow work. We have to look at ugly things like racism and awakening and waking up and being real about it. That's the message. There is definitely getting through this reading, in addition, a racist, definitely core that these people were operating out of. And I think that just like that plantation thing, it's been like generations. This is probably, indication to me of like learned racist behavior. Definitely that vibe. These two that she was with were up to no good. Snakes in the grass, copperhead, and dangerous. I feel like with the speaking the truth and her expression and maybe her vitality threatened them. They found threatening. And I think they looked for an opportunity to get her out of protection. They had this opportunity. Roots. This goes back. That's also ancestral. So I feel like we've got a karmic situation going on between her and these two girls, and then a greater one in general that this country seems to have. One of the nastiest infections of that's spread by teaching people how to be nasty towards someone else, by either never correcting that behavior or emulating it. Either one makes you guilty. So she's definitely letting us know, and the ancestors are letting us know and coming through, that this was a fluke in a sense, that they were not able to protect her. The issues at hand are discernment. She may have lacked a certain amount of discernment here. Maybe been too trusting and low esteem as well, still needing to develop that. She may have also thought that she was protected, but she was not. And clearly she was deceived. Just as the Copperhead card states. Awaken, and shadow work means like they're going to figure this out. Well, at least we're being told that this was as a result of somebody with dark ideas about what they were going to do to her. They had a devious plan, a dangerous plan, a risky plan. Let's draw a couple more for clarity. And this is plurality with the possum. Diversity, self-awareness, clarity. This is, to me, people in a community that know, who are much more self-aware about what these two did, and calling it like the speaking truth to power and saying this is yet another case, because they will be correct in this case, for sure. Unfortunately, I mean, I'm getting the plantation, there's other things here, it's just a vibe. If you don't see that in my reading, get your own channel, put up your own videos, do your own readings. The alligator, silence and introspection. It's like waiting, too. This is the feeling that there's more than one person, and I feel like they were clear about what they were doing. Sorry about that. I feel like they even reflected on this plan. More than one person involved. That's clear. This was like a predator. I'm being shown a predator that lies in wait. The mockingbird. Oh my God. All right, if you have not seen To Kill a Mockingbird and don't know what that's about, look it up. Just look it up. That's all I'm going to say. And it's like a metaphor. It's interesting because it's something I'm working on in my mediumship class with Debbie at Freebird Tarot. The mockingbird can definitely mock the cries of other birds. It is also about prophecy. It's also about the truth. And let me just get to the mockingbird here. Oops. You know, the mirror is also examining about yourself and who you believe you are. Looking at yourself inside and out. Self-study. Ego. It's about ego. That's for sure. I feel like and the interesting thing about the possum card is it talks about ancestors and DNA and taking pride in the multifaceted jewel that is you. I really think there was some part of her appreciation and of maybe her ancestry or her family that these girls were jealous of, that felt threatened by for some reason. I guess because they're weak. So they gotta, you know, silence somebody that speaks the truth and is much more clear, carefree. So I'm just looking at, okay, so the mockingbird also is communication. This also makes me feel, along with that alligator, predators communicating. And this is about just, and to kill a mockingbird is to destroy innocence, okay? But you can look more into that. There's like an important message. Dreams or visions, meditate with an open mind. It may take time, but they symbolize, traditionally mockingbirds symbolize innocence. They're able to mimic the sounds of call other birds, even insects and amphibians. Again, there's just a feeling like texts, probably. I don't think these two are terribly bright. But just devious enough to plan this. Yeah, there's the loss of innocence, my goodness, with the Blessed Child card. And it even says, lost innocence, purity. I think both in the case of the teens that or the young people that did this, and certainly Taleah. They need to get a different perspective on this. She did not go in there. This is not an accident. This was not completely innocent here. This was something that I'm being shown was devious. There was planning. We need to wake up and smell the coffee. You know, truly, literally. These girls did this because they believe that they can get away with it. And it looks like the place they grow up in is A-okay with that. the people that there seem to be okay. You know, she may have drowned, but she did not get in that water, you know, on her own 2 feet. I think she could have been lifted into that water. I could even see somebody, you know, you got 2 people, if they just both, one grabbed her legs, seized hold of her legs, the other grabs hold of her, under her arms, they could have, you know, brought her out into the water. So I'm just curious, you know, how many other people were at this body of water? Was it fairly isolated? Because I'm feeling really like these cards want to say the place, the timing was definitely encouraged by these people she was with. She was with deceptive, dangerous people. And that's the truth. I get that in the environment. So I'm good with saying that these 2 people she was with, if that's what you want to call them, these 2 monsters, little monsters that she was with, definitely did this out on predation. And I don't like what I get in their hearts. I get that I feel like, what is racism? And taking advantage of somebody. And I think knowing that they could do that to somebody and they'd probably get away with it. And look, you know, so far it's looking like they might. The police there, they need, the people investigating that need to scratch a lot deeper. And I think that they will. I hope that the FBI will, because these little girls kicked up that GoFundMe in her name for their quote unquote friend, and didn't turn 1 penny over, didn't help her family. They straight up have ripped people off. It's disgusting, and it's every bit as disgusting and deceitful as these cards show. That they took advantage of her innocence, they took advantage of her disability. You probably guess about how well that sits with me. And they took advantage of her trust and of her naivete and her goodness. And I hope they get what is coming to them, because this is saying this needs to be looked at with a much more thorough, intelligent eye. The Grove, Divinity, Awe, and the Crossroads, Road Opener, Decisions. So I'm feeling like Spirit is going to push on this. And maybe push on those that are involved in this case to make a choice. Things will come to a crossroads. And we have the card of Divinity and Awe. I hope that that's not in a sarcastic way, like, can you believe the racism? The Peach. Fertility, love. These cards kind of stick a little bit. And the Bayou. Emotions, manifestation. I think this is a swelling of support for her, true support, and high love, protective feelings towards her. There's also very spiritual strength that accompanies those that feel this way. And this is a real hardship. This, to me, is the family, and really depending on their faith to get them through this time. And where they have to make decisions. And they're doing it with love guiding them. And there's an abundant amount of I think, emotional investment that they will make things happen. It's like it's not an option, you know? And we get metamorphosis. There's going to be change. And this does deal with a life cycle. And certainly her life cycle was taken. Grounding. Fierce protection. So I just don't think that people are going to let this one be either. And I think there's going to be more of a groundswell, I certainly hope so, of support, at least locally, and I hope as much across the world. We can help. So please share this, you know. At least get her name out there. If they don't want to watch all of this video, that's fine. But make people be aware of it. Now, this took place in Michigan. So that's just not, you know, looking very good. I hope that I was able to catch the bit that I was reading through Black Enterprise Media. This is about the afterlife, that she's crossed over. I get that she's crossed over successfully with this kudzu here. There's abundant growth, willpower. She's very strong, though, and I do feel her presence very strongly. She's helped keep me on my toes to get back to this reading on her. And she let me know. I used Lilac Lantern's deck to pull some cards on her the first time I did. And she showed me that this was a trick. And it was like she was tricked, like a rabbit in a hat. She was made to think one thing, and they did something else. And she's let me know that she was tricked. And then I got the $sign. And then it just about knocked me down after I got that, and I read about them doing that GoFundMe. Why did that other paper, even in the most latest, not cover the fact that they did that? Am I wrong? Was that an error? I read that. I read that somewhere. Maybe it's misinformation. I'm not sure. But I don't think so. Because what I was told with the cards was money. I was given that money sign. It's a straight up dollar bill sign. So I'm going to leave it there.